Frank. Frank, come on, man. Can I Be Frank is all about capturing real, authentic, unedited conversation.
But he said Monday evenings of a bank holiday Monday, best time.
Really?
Yep.
And what's that like? That's just, you're wondering, is it people just fucking...
They're down and out after drinking all weekend before they go to work, so they're sitting at home on the sofa on social media, he told me.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well, it is interesting, like why does it suddenly become... why do we suddenly engage with it? And it's a happiness versus unhappiness thing, I think. Facebook doesn't really bring you anything apart from just escapism.
And it seems to be a habit as well.
It's totally a habit,
just a habit, yeah.
Yeah, you. I'd say you're on it now way more.
Oh, always, it's terrible.
Oh, do you not like it? No, because I hate it.
I don't like it because I'm using it. It's more of a need than a want for me. You know? But like some of the things that are on it are just ridiculous, like. Yeah. And unfortunately, the way it's gone now is I do a lot with. Do you use Snapchat?
No.
I use Snapchat a lot. I do.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm at the races or I'm in yard, I keep doing Snapchat, and my Snapchat following has got very big. Yeah. And people like that, And the Facebook thing, I can't. I used to only have like 100 friends on Facebook. Now I have a lot more. I can't really decline people, because that's the route I'm going now.
Well, I suppose.
So I keep. There's nothing personal on it really anymore, everything's kind of...
So you've moved over from that, okay. It's interesting, like, it's very interesting, the background, and I want to get into the background, but very interesting that somehow you've come upon using social media, and again, it's... given your background, you've no real, we'll say digital marketing bullshit experience.
Nothing.
But it doesn't count for anything. In the end, it doesn't count. You've got a niche, not niche even because it's a massive industry, but it's very specific.
Yeah.
Horse racing is specific and nobody else is doing it. And then all of a sudden, I'm even surprised though, Snapchat, like what have you got on Snapchat? Like
I've over 1,000 people on it,
and you would have thought it's kind of slightly younger audience, but I don't know.
Yeah, it is. A lot of it is younger, but it's funny because on Sunday night then at the Christmas party, a lot of kids that are riding out for these trainers and that, young girls and boys coming up to me, I mean like ranging from 17 to 20, 21, coming up to me, oh, your racing's inside track, get a Snapchat with me, and it's a bit mad. I was alright, grand, will you do an interview with me? I'm having my first ride next week and all that.
And would you've got people coming up to you when you were a jockey? Like the same way?
No way. No.
And so since you've been doing this, you're getting that.
I'm more known.
That's fucking ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
No one knows me as a jockey. I was only just an ordinary, just run of the mill, just trying to make a living and do my best to try and get on a horse that good enough to win. And
so bring me back in time a little bit. So how does anybody get into horse racing? How do you get into it like that to becoming a jockey? Like what happened that?
Well, I suppose a lot of people have backgrounds with horse racing.
Yeah.
And I didn't. My sister rode ponies out in Swords. We're from Clontarf.
Okay.
And my mother said to me, why don't you go out some Saturday morning? I laughed at her.
Yeah.
And I said, do you know what, I will. And I went out one Saturday morning and it was an addiction then.
That's it, is it?
I sat up on the horse and I loved it.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I was never the most natural or tidiest, stylish rider in the world, but I was good though.
Yeah.
I could ride, and I took to it straight away and loved it. And obviously you have to be a jockey, but there's a fine line between the brave and stupid part, and you need to be right on that line of brave, you know, and maybe have a bit of...
To push it, is it?
Yeah, just because it doesn't bother you fall off, or you just get back up, or you get kicked, or you just keep going. Like, you break a lot of bones, you get kicked in the face, you get kicked everywhere. You just get up and you want to go again, you know.
So is that kind of a case, like, because you're talking to an ignoramus here, but to say you're in the car and you're going around the corner and you decide, I'm going to go from 120 to 140, even though in order to win, in other words, can you, when you're on a horse, can you suddenly just up it to up the speed? But that's the danger line then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that
but
you take the risk, or
it depends on if you're in a race situation. It's whatever way the race is going, you're always going to be going fast, and if you're on a good horse, you can go quicker and do what you want, you know.
Yeah.
Bad horses don't go as fast.
Okay, so so what you're saying really then is adrenaline really is what you
obviously you get a great kick out of it, and you're jumping fences or hurdles, whatever it be, and when you're on good horses then you get a better kick because obviously you're in front, or you're going away and you're going to win. Obviously that's the kick. But even just riding horses up the gallops in the mornings and schooling over fences and hurdles, and especially again, it's always good, but when you're on good horses, it makes a difference. It's like when you're in a good car.
Yeah.
You know? You get out of the Fiat Punto and jump into even an ordinary BMW. There's a massive difference, isn't there?
Well, there is, yeah.
So you go from that Beamer to a Ferrari, then there's a huge difference.
Yeah. And so obviously you have got on Ferrari horses, have you?
I've been lucky enough to ride plenty at home on the gallops. Okay. But I'd say on the track to win on any, I probably only ever won on two, what you call proper horses.
Okay.
Two very good horses.
And can you feel it?
Oh, yeah.
How quickly do you know how good this
horse is? Oh, you know when they're at home, before they even run, when you're riding them.
What, looking at them?
No, just riding them.
Just being on them?
Yeah, you'll know, like.
Okay.
Some people are better judges than others.
Yeah.
I was probably... One thing I was always good at was I was a very good judge of a horse in terms of if he's good or not, or what trip he wants and will he win, and I was good at judging horses that way, you know.
Okay. But say you see one, can you when you're looking at them going around the ring, I know friends of mine, if you see them going around the ring looking at the horse, you go, okay, he's good. Is it possible to spot like that, or do you have to be right up close and on them? Or?
No, you need to ride and see if they're any good, but obviously from where it starts is the sales. So obviously the well-bred horse, the nice horse, the horse that sell for a lot of money, they stand out, you know. They have that walk about them, they have that bit of elegance, you know.
Presence almost.
Yeah,
like even in a person, you can get some people have better aura about them. Is that the case of the horse?
Walk along with their, you know, the shoulders down
hunched,
hunch their back, and you know, that person, if you said to me, would he sprint across that field real quick now, you'd probably say no, he wouldn't.
Yeah.
But the kid who's walking along, you know, and
bit of a spring in the step, sort of
especially
thing.
when their ears are pricked, they're watching around, they're sharp, like, you know.
Yeah, okay. So they're all good little kind of signs.
They're signals you pick up on, and then obviously when you sit on them, then, you know. Okay. Then you'll get plenty of horses there you ride at home, and they'll fly up the gallop and they'll beat what you thought was a good horse, and you think, geez, this lad's alright. But they're not good either, though. Yeah. They're just what you'd call morning glories, you know.
What's that? What do you mean? Just
they're very good on homework, but when they get to the track, they don't. Basically, a lot of times they don't have the balls to follow through with it. They're not tough enough, you know.
Okay, so we might go into that, but so you got on. I mean, most people, you know, an awful lot of people that I know, you know, in life would love the idea that suddenly one day they wake up one morning and they fall in love with what they want to do for. Well, let's say the rest of, maybe you didn't know that, but you obviously knew, fuck, I'm doing this again, and I'm doing this again from that first morning you went down there.
Oh, 100%, and I was going out every Saturday. I loved it, and
what age were you at this stage?
Sure, I would have started at 13, 14.
Okay.
13, I'd say. And a guy that was out there who was instructing, you know, he was a riding instructor, he said to me one day, my dad bought us a pony.
Yeah.
My sister would be in doing all the fancy dressage and the show jumping. I'd bring her out to the field and gallop as hard as she could and jump as many ditches and hedges as I could.
Okay.
And
As fast as you could.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt. And he then said to me, "Do you want to ride a racehorse?" And I said, "Jeez, I'd love to." And he sent me out to Jim Draper,
Right.
who is a huge name in horse racing.
Right.
His father trained Arkle.
Okay.
So
Nothing.
oh well, Arkle was, I mean, the greatest national hunts horse ever.
Okay.
He's like the Pele of soccer.
Right. Okay.
Arkle was.
Right.
He was the real deal. So when I went out there, then you're going from riding a pony to a racehorse, and that's basically like
Cycling to.
it's maybe that's the wrong way of putting it, but it's like being on a bike with stabilizers and onto a bike for the first time.
Okay.
You're onto it. What I always thought was a beast, from
Yeah.
a pony or a big fat cob to an athlete, I suppose. You know, and big difference. But you learn quick enough, and you learn if you're good enough or not. And sure, I loved it. Fourth year was coming around, and I said, I don't like school, you know.
Yeah.
So I went to the apprentice school on the Curragh, and so that was it then.
Well, okay. And so you got to dump school.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I was told now it wasn't going to happen, but they said that I could go down for fourth year. But sure, once they seen I was 16 and I was making money and I loved what I was doing, I think it was just the happiness thing,
Yeah.
you know. But unfortunately, there's so many that do and you don't make it. But I'm sure it's like all sports, you know, like soccer, and just so many lads you hear going to England and they don't.
Well, making it is doing something, and
Well,
you're,
that's
and
true.
you're earning
You're
a few bob.
yeah,
You're
and
earning
you're
a few
happy.
bob, and you're doing something you love. That's making it. I mean, so then there's the levels of degrees to which you're going to push it,
Yeah.
isn't?
I suppose,
But
and
you were making a living at what age, like that you weren't reliant on family.
Oh, 17.
17.
Yeah.
And what much are you earning now?
Oh, sure, you weren't getting much. You were only getting probably you free accommodation through the apprentice school, and sure, you were getting €400 a week. But once you start riding,
Okay.
then you start getting more money. Then
See, your accommodation paid for, and you're getting like 1,600 a month. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you're only 17. And
You're
that's
17 and you're doing
that's-
something you love, like. You're not stuck in
That's
school
17
learning a
years
load
ago.
of junk, like.
Yeah, that's 17 years ago.
Wow.
So-
Okay, so you're 34.
33. Yeah, I only
33.
just turned 33. Yeah.
Okay, and so you're in the school. So obviously, then people, like, it's taking a risk not going down the main, the kind of the basic linear route to go, which everybody goes to school. The safe route, we'll call it, goes to school, goes to college, gets a
Exactly.
job,
Yeah.
and is miserable.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, but so you took it. But how do you kind of come? How do you suddenly? So you were earning money at an early age. So then, at that early age, obviously you were half decent. I mean, I'm sure there's loads of kids who tried and who stayed it, and it was just a pastime. Like they started
Yeah.
in the same type of day that you did, but they didn't go anywhere with it. Is that
No,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, there's a lot of those that are, and don't get me wrong, you need those. They're just working and racing. They just ride out in the yards and that's it. But you need those people
Okay, why is that? Just
to ride the horses.
right.
You know, there's some trainers. Gordon Elliott there has 220 horses in training. Sure,
Okay,
he
you
needs a
need
lot
somebody.
of people to ride them out. you
Yeah.
know, and that's the way it is.
Okay, so there's still a role, like there's enough jobs for people even to do something like that.
Oh,
to
there
get
is,
that-
but it's not very well paid, and it is a lot of time put into it, 7 days a week for those people.
yeah.
They obviously love what they're doing,
Mm.
but as a trainer only said to me last week, you can't pay them anymore because the money's not there.
Yeah.
It's a strange one. It wouldn't be even one really to get into because it's awkward now. But just let's say you go out tomorrow and go down to the Porsche garage and say, I want to buy one of those, and they'd say you want a deposit and you're going to pay it every month,
Yeah.
right? And you don't pay next month's bill.
Yeah.
What happens?
Yeah.
The car gets taken off you.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's trainers training horses and the owners aren't paying for their bills. But unfortunately you say, oh, just fucking get rid of the horse. But if the horse isn't too bad, what do you do? And if 3 or 4 months have gone by and they owe you a few grand, then it's hard just to say, here, feck off there and take your horse.
Yeah.
And don't,
Because
you
of the
lose money.
value of the horse as well,
Yeah,
and
and
what do you do with it, right?
And it's just, it's a weird industry. Like, there's no other, you wouldn't get away with that anywhere else, like,
Yeah, I suppose it's a living thing, really, isn't it? The horse, really, you know.
Yeah, it's strange. Like, that owner can come up into that yard and I'm taking him away. And you take him away. And you say, you owe me 12 grand there. Oh, sure, I'll drop it into there next week, and he never pays you. There's no, you can't ring the guards or report him or whatever, you know. I think that's where the Turf Club are wrong. They're the authority over horse racing in Ireland. They should have, every owner has an account. So if you win a race tomorrow, your winnings will go into that account. So when the horses enter the next day, they take the 100 or 200 euro out of your account for entering into that race.
Yeah.
But that should probably be used to pay trainers as well, like, you know. That's just my idea on it. But that's down a different road though.
Yeah, I suppose that's down to the politics of the industry.
That's an awkward one.
Yeah. No, we might get there. So what happened that you kind of took it to the next? Well, I suppose you came out of the stables, we'll say, or came out of the training school into the real world of it.
You spend a year in the training school and you get sent out. You get put with a trainer for a few months.
Okay.
And usually the plan is to stay on with that trainer. I didn't. I moved closer to the apprentice school onto the actual Curragh.
Right.
And just you have a job, you work away, and if you're good enough, they'll get you a license. And you get your license and you start riding then.
Right.
Race riding. So, and just you work from there, and basically you work your balls off and you work as hard as you can. You try and get on good horses and try and get opportunities. But obviously owners, if they're paying a lot of money, you have a horse, you don't want the young lad riding it, do you? With less experience. You want the top jockey to ride it, don't you? So it's hard to get opportunities, you know. But some trainers are very good and give kids opportunities. But then obviously you have to be good enough then. And you might only get one chance and you might cock up on that day.
And what was your first big chance?
I suppose my first big chance, I took it. I was put on a horse on Grand National Day.
Okay.
In Fairyhouse, and he knew.
Is the Irish Grand National then?
Irish. It was a big handicap hurdle. It was on RTE TV.
Yeah.
It was only my 10th ride, so very inexperienced. And basically, Mick Halford, the trainer, said to me, "This horse has a very good chance today." He says, "If you do what I tell you to do, he'll go close."
Okay.
And it turned out he told me to be handy, which is up in the first 4 or 5 of them, 30 runners, big handicap, and I got shuffled back to the back, and I was effing and blind and cursing at myself. I was too far back, but it worked out for me, and he won then.
Oh wow!
And sure, that was great. My mother and father were there.
Just you underplayed that now, so you won the Grand National.
No. It was a race on Grand National Day.
Okay, sorry. All right. Okay, sorry.
Big handicap hurdle on Grand National Day, which obviously is one of the biggest day in Irish racing, and to win that on RTE TV was great. Like, you know, but not long after that, then I remember I got a good opportunity on another very good horse, and I cocked up. Like, I got beaten a short head, and I gave it a terrible ride. That's many years ago. If I was to sit in front of the telly now and watch someone give that the exact same ride, I'd say, "Oh, that's terrible." You know?
Really?
But I suppose
you see,
you need to make those mistakes.
Yeah, I would have thought then that to make those mistakes, but is it as ruthless as when you've made that mistake, or you fucked up there, that when the consideration comes for another opportunity, they'll go, not so sure there.
Yeah, that's the thing. You won't get that opportunity.
You won't get the opportunity again. Yeah.
The likes of Ruby Walsh and Barry Geraghty and the big lads, if they make that mistake, it'll be all right. They'll still ride the horse.
Because they've enough behind them,
yeah, because they're just so good anyway. Yeah. But you're looked upon as, he's only the kid, he's no experience, but I'm going to give him an opportunity today, and you cock up and you don't do what you're told. They'll say, "Well, sure, why should I give you an opportunity again?" You know. Okay. It is tough, like, you know. I suppose again, it's like, I use football as a good example. Like, if the young lad says, "Right, you need to do this, go on and give him a chance," and he plays terrible, or, you know, you mightn't get that opportunity quick enough again, you know.
No.
So
obviously for you, how many years were you at it when you got that the Grand National one? Did you say how many years were you at to be able to get that opportunity?
The race on Grand National Day. Yeah. That was very early on. So I'd only had a few rides.
Yeah.
And so that was a great start for me, you know. But I probably made a mistake going to England then, you know.
Okay.
I rode another couple of winners after that, and then I decided I'm going to go to England. There's more opportunities in England, and that didn't really work out for me. It's probably a
Right.
bad...
What age were you then?
I went to England when I was 20.
Right, well, yeah.
And I came home when I was 22. So I made... But saying that, I made mistakes when I was over there too, though, you know. I didn't make the most of the opportunities that were given to me in England, but...
Why was that?
Just, I suppose, being young and having money and acting the age a bit, you know.
Yeah, okay.
It's like everything, I suppose. Hindsight's brilliant. You look back and say, jeez, if only I'd done that. But then I say to myself, was I good enough either to get to the very top? No, I know I wasn't. But I was good enough to have more success. But
what is good enough to get to the very top in that? What is it that you're...
You just need to be gifted, as I suppose. I don't say you have to be gifted, because there's a lot of lads that aren't, that get to the so-called top. But you need to be very lucky too. You need to be in the right place at the right time, you know. There's some lads that get jobs that just it fell on their lap because they were in the right place at the right time, you know.
Yeah, okay.
But really, I think you have to be man enough to stand back and look at it and say, am I or was I good enough to get one of those jobs? No, I wasn't.
Right.
Simple as that. And I'll happily admit that. And there's other people who cod themselves and believe, and they feel like they're hard done by, you know. Why didn't I get on that horse? Or you're not good enough, you know. And sometimes you have to be man enough and stand back and say, I wasn't good enough. I was good enough to get rides, to get opportunities, have some success, and make a living out of horse racing. But after a while, then that wasn't enough for me then. So I gave up riding because I started struggling with weight and that.
Yeah, talk to me about the weight thing. That's a big thing, is it?
Yeah, weight's massive. Weight's very tough for lads with, obviously on the flat racing, they're small lads. You need to be around 8 stone. Okay. So for any full grown man, that's not right, like, obviously. Yeah. You know, but weight obviously is a big issue. And then
so what type of weight would you have had to hit?
10 stone.
10 stone, right.
Try and be a little lighter, so try and always be just under 10 stone, even if you're 10 stone.
10 fucking stone.
Yeah, right. But 10 stone would be alright, because if you needed to ride a horse at a lighter weight, then you could lose half a stone in 24 hours through sweating.
Can you?
Oh yeah, no problem. Right. Remember, the most I lost in 24 hours was 9 pounds to ride a horse.
And what do you mean sweating? Like what type of...
Just put on loads of layers. What I used to do was go running the roads, and this when I was in England, and come back and you'd be sweating and put a black bag on you again then, and I used to get into the bed at night like that. Jesus. And you used to sleep, and you get up the next morning, you're obviously not eating, you have a small little bit of a drink, and ride out all morning with all sweat gear on, so you're riding 5 or 6 horses in the morning, so you're busy, get to the track, have a run into the sauna, and you lose that way. Obviously, okay. You're very weak and...
Yeah, so, and have you had time then to build a bit of strength back up before the race, or how's that work?
No, what happens is, because you weigh out, so I have my saddle and all my gear on me, and I stand on the weighing scales, and I'm 10 stone, okay, with all my gear, and hand out the saddle, so you have maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes before you go out to the parade ring to get on the horse, and you could eat something then, but you can't eat or drink too much, because if you win the race...
You're weighed against. No.
Or you finish in the first 3 or first 5, first 6, they can change it around, and you get on the scales and you're too heavy. Okay. You can lose the race then. If you've lost a lot of weight and you've gone back in and had a litre of water and had a few sandwiches and that, you just don't do it. You'd have a small something to eat and a small drink.
So you're wrecked then, are you?
Oh, you're dehydrated, you're weak, and again then...
Jeez, the hunger, I'd have the rage of hunger, like...
You might eat for a couple of days, like, you know. Yeah. But the problem is, the ride is there then for you. You don't want to say no in case the horse wins, so you go lose the weight. But then when you're on the horse then, you're not really at your best then either, because you're dehydrated and you're weak.
So you have to keep the weight down really all the time. It can't be a big leap. You have to stay on top of the diet all the time.
You got to eat sensible and just keep it right so that you don't have to lose too much, you know.
Yeah, and have you ever missed, in your time, have you missed a weight?
Only once ever did I done it. Okay. But I was, I suppose not in my defence, but just it was a spare ride. Someone got injured and I was asked to ride, and I said, well, I can't do that weight. I can do £2 over. Fine, that'll do.
Okay,
so I
that's
never,
reasonable, yeah.
I never missed it off, like when I was down declared to ride a horse, you know.
Yeah.
So.
But so obviously you were saying it towards the end, doing the weight cut was a big thing for you.
Just as it got on, maybe I suppose, again, I have to blame myself. I got a little lazy. I didn't look after myself as well. I used to do a lot of running, a lot of cycling, and I kind of got a little bit lazy with that because I wasn't riding good horses, and I just said to myself, you just don't put as much in then, I think so. And then I just kind of fell out of love with race riding.
Yeah.
And just continued working in racing, riding horses, and I used to drive the lorry. And I suppose I was a good asset, I suppose. I could ride, I could school, I could ride work, I could drive the lorry. I could do anything really.
Yeah.
So I was a good asset in that respect. And then just one day I just packed it in.
Right. So I imagine that the one thing that'll keep you going is the days you still get up on a horse and you're going around that track. I mean, even if you're not on the best horse, but you're in with the chance, it can't be many things much better though.
Oh, it's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Especially when you're on a good horse.
Yeah.
So like I can only imagine how the likes of Ruby Walsh and Paul Townend and Barry Geraghty and Mark Walsh, these lads feel when they're riding good horses most of the time, you know.
Yeah.
Davy Russell and Jack Kennedy. They're riding great horses all the time. Must be brilliant, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's like everything, you know, when you're at the top and you're winning, it's all good, isn't it? And it's a confidence as well. You ride better if you're winning. I think.
Well, I suppose it feeds on itself. Victory, the feeling of it. Yeah, the unbeatableness or whatever.
You'd see lads there, like a good friend of mine had a real good start to the season during the summer, riding a lot of winners, and I said to him, geez, you're riding well. He said, just confidence, you know?
Yeah, belief.
Just in getting up on horses, and I think, yeah, sure, I won on the last one, sure, why can't I win on this one, you know? For a lad who went through a quiet spell, and then he just went through riding a lot of winners through the summer and things were going well, and you think, geez, he's riding real well. But it's a fashion, like, people see you winning. Yeah. People think,
associate you with that, and that you have a chance. Yeah, okay.
You know.
So, tell me this then. So obviously, so there's the good side of it is the he's getting on that horse on that Saturday or Sunday, whatever, or knowing that you're going to get a good horse, or being around the whole that a camp maybe that has a winning sort of energy. But what, like, for somebody on the outside, I mean, my view of the horse racing world, I mean, I obviously, you're talking to a total ignoramus, like an epic ignoramus. Put it like, all I know is I had a Betfair account for a year, and I went and looked at the P&L of my Betfair account after a year of horse racing betting.
I was in the red.
It was beyond the red, but I had never looked at it. I just kept tipping away. But when I actually looked at the maths of the whole thing, I went, I'm not doing this. This is not for me. But I've always wondered, like, well, who's in the know? Where's the money? You know, is there a clannish element to it? Is there a bad side to it? I suppose, you know, that's the kind of can you talk about? Is there a side to it? I've always wondered, well, you know, who knows about is it the trainers who know? Is it the jockey who knows? I know there's uncertainty, but there is still, like, when you're getting up on the Ferrari and say nobody knows, from what we've said there, nobody knows that it's a Ferrari. People might think, well, he looks well, and maybe his track record is a certain way. But yeah, I suppose, you know what I mean by that. Like,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
We know in the yard at home that he's good.
Yeah, he's really good. Nobody knows. Yeah.
Word spreads very quick in horse racing. You know, all it takes is for one lad in the yard to text his mate, say, on the other end of the country, here, don't tell anyone now, John. But don't tell anyone, John. But this
click this here. Sorry, you don't tell anyone, John. And everybody is told.
Don't tell anyone. I'm sure you know yourself, then. It's like wildfire then.
I'll find out about it. Even I will find out about it.
And then John rings his cousin and says, now here, I have a horse for you today, but you can't tell anyone.
Yeah.
It just spreads around. And
you tell it to your one good friend. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see that then on the betting then. The horse is getting backed and that. And then maybe the trainer could be interviewed on At the Races or RTE or ITV, wherever it be, and they will say, yeah, really like this horse, he's a nice horse, should go well. They won't. There's not many of the trainers, especially the big trainers, they won't say, oh yeah, this is a real good horse, he will win if it's his first run. They say he's a nice horse, whatever it be, but the word has got around, oh, this lad's a machine, he'll win.
Yeah, okay.
And that's the way it goes then. But like you ask about a bad side.
Yeah,
there is a bad side to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad to it with the betting. I suppose people always said Betfair was the worst thing that was ever brought in because of laying horses.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it doesn't happen here in Ireland, but in England a lot with the all-weather racing, you could compare it to dog racing. They're bad horses, all just running against each other. Okay. It's a very, very low level of racing. What's
laying? I know it, and I never could figure out the laying part.
If you have, let's say there's just 4 horses in a race, okay, and we'll go A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
A is favourite, okay, and he's 1 to 2 favourite. Okay. So he's very short, and then B is 11 to 10. Okay. And the other 2 are whatever you want, okay? Yeah. So you're looking at it and you're saying, it's only a 2-horse race, whatever it be, 1 to 2. You don't think the 1 to 2 favourite is going to win, okay? So you go on to Betfair and you lay him, okay? And by you laying him, you're getting 2 to 1 on the field on the other 3 runners. Okay. You could go back B because you think, he'll beat him. But when the horses are that short and odds on, you may as well lay the horse. Because what happens is, if B falls and A just finishes nowhere and one of the other 2 win, you still win. Yeah, you're basically backing that horse not to win.
Okay, yeah, fine. Yeah.
So you find a lot of it, you can, and a lot of people have got in trouble over of stopping horses. Just make sure they don't win for people to
do that.
Yeah,
so that's what I was wondering.
The BHA have come down hard on a lot of people.
Yeah, so to what extent to jockeys? Say, for example, you are in your career and you're not making it, and you're not making the money then, and somebody comes along and says, well, how dodgy can it get then?
It can get very dodgy, and it's there. It's not for me to I'm not saying blow names out or talk about it, but it's
you
there.
You don't need to mention names, but
for what I'm saying is everyone knows it's there. And I suppose, again, using another sport as an example, like snooker, soccer at lower levels, it's all there, like. Make sure you miss that pot, make sure you get a penalty or miss a penalty,
Yeah.
Because betting's there.
There's so much
those
money
opportunities. There's so much money. These opportunities will
and
arise.
Have you been approached in your time?
No, I've never been approached in my time. No.
Okay.
But in England a lot, because there's racing every day and it's it's low grade racing on the all weather. It's easy done, and I'm not saying it's right, but I can understand why people, not that they do it or even think about it, is because if you're not riding winners and a fella comes along to you and he's offering you a good lump sum of money, they say you make sure you don't finish in the first 3 on this horse.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, and if you've a high chance of getting away with it, a weak man a woman will take the opportunity.
And that's what people will do. Them opportunities are always going to be there because of the lane and the betting industry.
And where is the money inside the sport? Like who
racing
is in who's making the money? Is it
bookies?
The bookies.
Yeah. And I read an interesting article yesterday. A guy, Kevin Blake, he's a very good journalist, and he does be on At the Races, and he works for a lot of different people. And he wrote a very good article from when he was in Hong Kong, and their turf club, their racing authority, own all of the betting, and the money goes out to charities and all this. It was a very interesting article, but I suppose, I don't know the whole ins and outs of all that and all, but racing should be getting more back from the bookies. The bookies are making too much money and the people in racing aren't getting enough. What about the lad who works 7 days a week, works his balls off there, and the trainer can only pay him X amount because he only has 20 horses in training? Does the bookie say, well, sure, that's their fault? There should be more money from the bookie side going back into racing. There's no
Yeah,
doubt.
okay.
They're the ones making the money.
And I don't think anybody likes that. I can't imagine anybody out there who's betting or whatever. Nobody likes losing money to the, this idea that say that if you lost your money but it goes out to a charity or it goes to the horses, everybody would feel good about it. What you were saying there in Hong Kong, I think in that scenario, people would probably bet more and more money could go back into it. And then that the average punter can win when, they do win.
Yeah, like stable staff should be looked after better, and they're not. I'm not blaming the Turf Club or Horse Racing Ireland or anyone for that, but take money from bookies then. They're the ones making the money of it all. Yeah. So take money from them, put it back into it. It's terrible that you go racing in your job and you go into the canteen in the stable yards, which is only for no one outside of can come into it, and you have to pay for your food. They shouldn't have to pay for food going to the races to work for the day. That should be all there free for them. And they should be looked after a lot better.
Yeah, okay. And tell me, what about I'm going in just to the corrupt side a little bit, but just to know, I suppose, well, not even corrupt, say a jockey's not good to a horse, that's hurting a horse. Or does that happen, or is that just naivety on my part, do you know jockeys that, or have seen jockeys that, can you hit a horse too hard? Can you, do things to the horse because it's all about winning and it's not about the horse? Or
no, there's rules there in place that if you use your whip too much, you get a suspension and that, But there's a lot of people you hear from, the animal cruelty crowds and all this and all, they give out about horses for the English Grand National when they fall or die, or you see people on Twitter, I suppose social media is good in one way and it's bad.
I'm not going down that route now. More just
but that's how these problems come up, is because people use these outlets to voice it. Then, oh, he was too hard on that horse. At the end of the day, they're half a ton animal.
Yeah,
the stick are all cushions.
Yeah, okay.
It's used as an indicator to, ask them to go on to try a bit harder. When they're getting tired, you're hitting them to ask them to keep trying till they get to that line, And no, there's no cruelty. There's no, jockeys are only trying to win and they use the stick, but the stick doesn't hurt the horse,
Yeah, okay. So then the opposite of that, is there a love of horses? Do you love a horse?
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no man or woman out there that is a jockey in a race riding a horse, or a stable lad or lass in a yard who works a horse 7 days a week that does not love horses.
Yeah, okay.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
You're working 7 days a week all year round. So many of the people in the industry will work on Christmas Day. They'll all be in work because the horses have to be fed and they have to be rode. You couldn't do it if you didn't love it.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely.
Well, the animal itself is such.
They're incredible animals.
They're an incredibly stunning animal.
Not love them, Incredible, intelligent animal. When you think of what they do, to on heavy ground to gallop 3 miles with someone on their back and jump a number of fences, they're incredible animals.
Yeah, so the bond then must be a big thing. If the day you get the big wins and that horse, that horse is gone. I don't know, can you know when a horse has gone extra than you even thought they could, or pushed it? Is there
and I suppose it's like human beings. Some horses will try harder than others.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's like all humans. Like, one lad is a tough old devil and he just won't give up,
Yeah.
And like some
horses. And do you think they'll try harder for certain jockeys versus others? Is that a thing?
I wouldn't say that they try harder for certain jockey, but there is horses that will... Some jockeys will get horses to run better than other jockeys.
Okay.
And that's just hands, and if you get on with them and you don't get on with them. But you do see that a lot,
Yeah.
Especially at home. You might be a very good rider, but you might just not get on with the horse, Just the way you ride with your hands or the way you ride, But another lad who mightn't be as good as a rider, he might get on well with that horse, You do see that,
Okay. And tell me, what was it? I had a thought there of, I suppose, so when you walked away from the horse race, and obviously there was a load of things that kicked into that decision, But so what was it like not having that buzz, knowing that you're not going to... Well, I suppose the good side is you didn't have to make weight and all that, but the bad side was...
I suppose even just giving up racing completely was a lot of people said, oh, it's a very rash decision, you know. The amount of phone calls I got, you're not working horse at all anymore. No, gone. And it's funny, a very good friend of mine, he's a school teacher, but he does life coaching. He said to me the amount of people he sits down with that just hate their job, but it's fear of giving something else a go. And I just woke up one morning and I said, I'm done. And I'm not saying, like, I suppose it does take balls, but I didn't think of it that way. I just said, it's enough for me, that's me done now.
Yeah.
And there was, after a few weeks, I said to myself, Jesus, you missed the old riding out there in the mornings. But when you think of it, I didn't miss it on a whole. It was the right decision I made.
Okay.
And I didn't ride a horse for over 8 months, I didn't. And I thought, after a few weeks or a couple of months, I said, I'm going to be mad to get back on a horse, but I wasn't. I didn't miss it at all, you know.
Right. The pressure.
I wouldn't say pressure, just it was a relief. It was 7 days a week. It's tough. Like whether you're a jockey or even just working in racing, whether you're just a stable lad just riding out in the mornings, it's 7 days a week. It's all year round. And
you were saying that downstairs that the life is insular almost, even like for the Christmas parties or for everything. It's all you know almost. Is that
yeah,
it?
it's like what a lot of people and you see. And what I said to myself was I gave up riding, but I was still working and racing for another 3 years. And I just said, I said to myself one evening, I don't want to do this anymore. That's nothing against anybody that is doing it. They're happy. I just said it's not for me to continue on just working 7 days a week, 2 days off a month. You get every second Sunday off. And I just said, you know, and I think it is the fear thing. People, they don't know anything else, only horses. I didn't either. I know nothing but horses. But since I've given up horses, I've learned a lot of things, you know, new things, and it's worked, and that's why I came up with the idea. I'm big into boxing, and there's a guy who, same sort of thing, just started off interviewing boxers in small hall shows and in gyms, and I thought to myself, do you know what? Obviously now he's massive. He's huge. Sure, he's over 300 million views on YouTube. And I looked at it one day and I said to myself, do you know what? That could work. So I went to a couple of very close friends and asked them for their opinion, and they said it's just a great idea, you know. And I said it to a couple of other people, and they said, don't know how that would work. And I said, the two guys that said it's a great idea, they're not involved in racing, and the two lads that said, oh no, don't do that, they're in racing. And I went back and said to myself, I said, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks. Give it a go. What have we got to lose? You know?
So this is that it's called Inside Track, isn't it?
Racing's Inside Track.
Racing's Inside Track, yeah, okay.
And I just came up with the name, and I said to myself, I don't know anything about interviewing someone. I don't know much about technology, cameras, or any of that sort of thing. So I just grabbed an iPad and basically got into my car and met with two of my close friends, Paddy Kennedy and Mark Bulger, who are both jockeys. Okay. I said, lads, I need to use this for an hour or so. Right. And I had a chat with them and everything, and threw that up and got a few views and whatever, and just went from there. And obviously I got a drone and better videos and put videos on people's helmets and things like that. And as I've gone along, it keeps getting bigger, and it's getting there, you know.
That's pretty cool. The drone thing, geez, you gave that a go, did you?
I just went and bought a drone, yeah.
Yeah, okay, very good.
I think a lot of it has just been sure, may as well give it a go. The way I look at it is, what have you got to lose, you know?
Yeah.
Fear is an awful thing that holds people back, I think, in life.
I think that's the biggest. There's somebody saying to me the last day that you don't really have to get over yourself about things. You have to get over the fear. Just get over the fear and just go and do it. And in the doing is the best antidote to fear, isn't it? Really, you
Definitely.
know? Yeah.
And I think even if you have 20 ideas, obviously if they're not going to financially break you and put you in a hole, what have you got to lose by trying them? Give them a go. Yeah. And if they don't work, try the next one. Well, I think if you try the first one, you say, right, then you go along. But I think it's the fear one of trying to do the first one, you know?
Yeah, well, it's, you see, I think it's a thing of doing when you're doing something totally different, then we'll say what you've done. It is, you're trying to break you're trying to break your past or just break away from your past, and that can be difficult. It's why people stay in the same jobs for an eternity, the same thing for
and
eternity.
exactly what I was saying to a racing people, it's a fear thing of, I don't know anything about horses, so why can't I leave? And I'm sure it's like so many people, they want to give some other job a go, but it's the fear thing of, and I suppose a lot of it, and I can understand financially, like if, let's say, some guy has a job and he makes X amount and that pays off his mortgage and whatever other bills, and he has the few bob left over and he's happy. This other job he might have to downgrade, take a pay cut, and say, but it could work out better for him in the long term. I think that's what people fear a lot of the time, you know.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's the...
I'm sure you see that more with business and all as well.
To be honest, it's the unknown. You see, it's normally we stick... my thinking is that it's like what we were saying downstairs. The idea of, you know, when you go to a restaurant, you'd have the steak. I'm not going fucking trying the fish, because I had fish before, it didn't work out for me, so I'm going to stick with steak forever. And
definitely.
I think it's like anything that you... But the thing is, though, if you just get sick of the best thing that can happen is to get sick of steak or get sick of horse racing. Not maybe sick of it, but just enough is enough. That day you woke up, because then needs must. You simply have to change.
You have to, exactly.
So if you can handle it, or you're happy enough with it, and you're willing to accept happy enough, then you'll stick with it.
Yeah.
You know.
And like you said, you get sick from that steak. You have to eat the fish the next week.
Yeah, you're going to try the fish. You've no choice in the matter, and giving it a go. I had asked a couple of friends of mine who were big into horse racing, and one of them said was something about the handicapped. Can that be explained in simple terms? Does that make sense?
Simple enough, yeah.
What is that? I don't even know what he said when he texted me. I went, we just look and see what he said. This is Brian McLaughlin. I might as well say his name. Explain horse handicapping for dummies. He's also asked for a Christmas banker, but I'm going to keep that for the end.
Okay, right.
Explain horse handicapping.
Okay.
Is it easy to explain something like that? I don't even know what that means.
Break it down. Like every horse, there's. I'll just stick with national hunt racing. Yeah. It's easier. So if you have a horse, and most horses will run in maybe a point to point, which is, so I won't go down that road, it's a bit different. And then there's bumpers then. So you run them in a bumper, you can run in 5 of them. If you win one, don't win one, doesn't matter. Then you start off going over hurdles, and you'll run in a maiden hurdle. If you win your maiden hurdle, you'll get a handicap rating, because you can't run in a maiden hurdle again. Okay, right. So you'll get a rating. Let's say you get a rating then of maybe 115, 120. Okay. Right? We'll go 115, okay? Right. So you get 115 of a rating. And the horse that finishes second and further back, all those horses, if they don't win any, when they've had 3 runs in maiden hurdles, they'll now get a handicap mark. Okay. Basically look on it as, they're not up to win it, but they get the mark then. So then you go to a handicap hurdle. And when you have that mark then, there's you get open handicaps, and then you can get handicaps like up to 101, 106 or whatever it be, like, Okay. And if your horse is rated within that, he can run in that. And then they're all weighted on their handicaps, like. Okay. And that's where, going back to it, I don't want to talk about it too much, I suppose, but that's where, if you have what you think is a decent enough horse, you might run him in 3 or 4 maiden hurdles and make sure he's not 100% fit, and make sure he's out the back door, so he might get a low enough rating, and then have him ready and run him in a handicap hurdle then off what is a low weight, which he's a lot better than, and he'll win.
Okay, yeah. So I was always curious about that. In my language, that sounds like a scenario where you have a good horse, and either you decide, well, let's just see how good he is, but let's hold him back and wait for when the big races come, and then we'll really let loose. Does that happen?
Yeah, and that's what people will do, that they'll have better chance. Maiden hurdles aren't easy to win; they're very competitive, and you always get good horses in them. And then there's the horses that are too good to be handicappers, so they go into graded company. You know, they'll run in the graded races, which is all for the better race. Like a few of the races at Christmas, the graded races, Cheltenham. Obviously, there's handicaps at Cheltenham too, but a lot of the graded races, they're all off level weights. Well, barrier or mare, and you get an allowance. But that's what people do with the handicap. So to your friend who doesn't understand it, maybe that might help a bit. But it's basically just to try and level it out, to give everybody a chance, I suppose, is the best way of putting it.
Okay.
There's low grade handicaps for the so-called not so good horses. So there's chances there for all horses. But it's very competitive in Ireland because usually you'll only have racing 3 days a week. In the UK, there's racing every day. You know, I know it's a lot bigger country. There's more tracks, there's more horses, more people, but there's a lot of opportunities in England. It's not easy to win a race in Ireland. You know.
Yeah. Okay. So there's less.
And if you
title.
finish, you know, you might find you have a frustrating horse in terms of he's been unlucky, and he's been second a couple of times, and maybe just beaten by a better horse or whatever it be. And he'll get a couple of pounds for finishing second, added on to his handicap mark. So when he comes out the next day, he's up another couple of pounds and he gets beaten again and he gets another couple of pounds. The handicapper might be harsh on certain horses too, so it's wide open. But handicap basically just gives people
more of a level playing field.
Just to lay it out that way.
Tell me this now and tell me no more. You kind of talked about the insuliness a little bit downstairs and it depends how much you want to get into it, but somebody was saying to me that obviously the drinking culture, simply because it's the nature in any kind of culture, I suppose people get together and let loose. Well, what's the story? Is there drugs in the industry? I saw something about the Galway races and cocaine, or what? Do you talk about that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I don't mind talking about it. Just obviously things like that on what I do with my videos and interviews. You don't go down that road. Yeah. I try and just all positive and good stuff, you know. Racing gets enough bad news, so there's no point in dwelling on that. But
I'm going for the tabloid stuff here, am I?
Yeah, but I know, but yeah, there was three lads that use drugs and they got tested and they've got bans, you know. It's unfortunate. I'm not saying that it's right. It's they shouldn't have done what they done, but they've got their bans. And
why did they get caught doing it? Like that's. I mean, to be honest, I think it's prevalent in everywhere. But you must know, or is there random testing? So you might be racing for a few weeks and you know you're off, living the dream for a little while, and you decide to let loose for a weekend.
Yeah, and even you mightn't have been tested for ages, so the lads probably thought maybe we won't get tested. You know? And they did get tested. You don't know till you get in, and if you're riding and you're on the card, they'll say.
It's not like it's like football. I would have thought it can't be a benefit of. You know, in football there was a big thing that Maradona was on cocaine and he was doing it before a game, or that was the kind of impression of that it was terrible. But I can't see how something like that can benefit you. Can you?
No, definitely not. I'd say
it's just lads out on the rad.
It's just unfortunate that the lads were out on a night out, and I know the three lads and they're good lads and very good riders too. But unfortunately, they made a mistake. They broke the rules and they're going to be punished for it now.
So what's the story with that? How long did they get banned for?
I'm not sure what Roger and Danny got, but I know Ger Fox got a long enough ban. I'm pretty sure. I think he got in around 18 months.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not 100% sure on the ban. I never even read into how long they got.
And the insane thing is, if there's alcohol in the system,
you'd be stood down for the day. You would. You won't get.
But what I'm saying is, say you go out on the RAS and you have to recover for a week for the damage that you've done to your body, or a couple of days. That culture is totally not looked upon, like you were describing the Christmas party there, and everybody's out having a good time. That culture is not looked upon as a bad thing. But then obviously drugs are seen as. It's just, I find that kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, because unfortunately drinking is a drug, and I don't want to sit here and sound like the old bore or anything. I don't drink. I gave up drinking because I had a bad incident with drink, so I decided I don't need drink. Yeah. And a lot of people drinking, and sure, they're out having the fun and whatever else and all, but I suppose I heard on the radio yesterday some guy said, I don't know who he was, some politician said, you know, you should be allowed to have a couple of drinks before, and shouldn't be done for drink driving. So that's outrageous, like, you know. But
our attitude to drink is insane.
It's terrible,
in the country. In whatever way people want
terrible.
to look at it, I think it's absolutely insane.
At the end of the day, I suppose, if you look on it and you hear of most families are ruined and family breakups and all, a lot of it's down to drink. Like,
it is.
It's drink related, you know. Like lads and cheating on their missus or things like that. No, a lot of it's drink related, you know. I'm not saying that no ban should be put on drink. Definitely not. But
I think people do what they want, but the culture should be recognised, especially now in the month of December. It's the silly season, and it's insane.
Yeah, it's
madness. Insane. Yeah. It's you're lucky you're out of that whole game because you don't have the whole hangover and all that crap.
Like the other night, there, lads were saying to me, "Jeez, how do you stay all night not drinking?" I'm well able to go out and have a good old laugh and not drink. There'll be some times where you say, "Jeez, you'd like an old drink with the lads," but I know I don't need it. It's no use to me. I like to be able to jump in the car and drive home, and the next day I can get up early and go about my business and
tell me, did you find it hard at the start, it being Ireland, you know, to say no, I'm not now tonight?
Yeah, because it's funny the amount of people that look and you say, "Wow, you don't drink?"
Yeah,
you know, people.
That's the thing. They actually don't want to hang around with you either, though, on a night out if you're not drinking.
People think like they look on you as if you're an alien to them, like, you know.
Yeah.
But they can't understand that you don't drink, you know.
Yeah.
But no, listen, I've very good friends and lads that I hang around with and all, and they don't even care that I don't drink, you know. They'd be happy, I suppose, that I bring a lot of them home at the end of the night anyway. So.
What was I going to say? Did you tell me? So Inside Track, you started it how long ago? Is it now?
Races Inside Track was set up in March.
Okay, so no time, and you've already got to the 7,000 odd on Facebook. Is that right today?
Yeah, just short of 7,000 likes on Facebook. I'm over 1.5 million views on Facebook.
Okay, and so it is essentially you were going in and getting what's happening. You're getting in behind the scenes, talking to the jockeys and the trainers. Is that it?
Yeah, and it's obviously hard because you can't go racing every day, and I'd like to be at it every day. But in the new year now, I have a few more fresh ideas, do a couple of new things, and see where that takes me. But yeah, basically it's just try and sit down and have a quick, relaxed chat with certain lads and ask them about horses, and like I said, it's just all on a positive note, you know.
Yeah.
And go to yards and get some clips of some horses galloping and schooling and like all that. Like that's what people want to see, I suppose, you know.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, it's funny. No matter what sort of questions you get, I mean, everybody wants to know the bankers. Like, you know, what is the Inside Track? Who's the up and coming ones to watch in the next 12 months? Like, you know, in football, everybody be talking about an 18-year-old that's coming along, or that one to watch. Like, for out there now, who would you be excited about? It'll mean nothing to me, but I know it will to me.
Oh, sure, look,
my brother-in-law, if nobody else watches it.
There's many of them, I suppose. A couple of standout horses are a horse of Gordon Elliott's Sam Crow.
Okay.
He's a very good horse. He's unbeaten. I'm pretty sure of what I've read, he's not going to run at Christmas. He'll run in the new year in Naas.
Right.
He's very, very good. He's owned by Michael O'Leary.
Let's give this a bit of a flick. Keep going.
He runs a Naas in the new year, I'm pretty sure. Death Duty, another horse of Gordon Elliott's, Michael O'Leary's. He's a very exciting horse. These horses, when they run, will be very short prices, but you're looking forward to them come Cheltenham, because if they keep doing what they're doing, they're the exciting ones. Willie Mullins has a very exciting horse called Footpad.
Okay.
He was a very good hurdler,
yeah.
And he's gone over fences now, and he looks like, it's funny, some horses seem to be better if they're over the bigger obstacles than the smaller ones, you know. And he looks like he could be a very, very good chaser. Okay. And there's a horse of Paul Nolan's called Discorama. He ran in a bumper last year and he ran well, and I know the ground didn't suit him, and he ran in Ferryhouse a few weeks ago and he won. He was a very big price when he won. He was 66-1, and a horse that he beat isn't too bad called Blow by Blow, and he won yesterday. Okay. And I think Discorama, wherever the boys run, I think they're going to go to Limerick with him at Christmas, so he's a name to look out for at Christmas.
Right.
I don't think he'd be one of the horses I mentioned are three exciting horses looking forward for the big days. On their next runs, they'll probably be all short price favourites. But Discorama shouldn't be too short, and he's a horse that I'm pretty sure Paul said he goes to Limerick, and when he goes to Limerick, I think he'll take a lot of beating, because I'd say he'll have improved massively for the last day.
Okay. And of those, which ones would you say, if you do you look back and you see a horse and go, jeez, I would have loved, right now, right now even, is there one out there and you go,
sure.
Oh God.
There's loads.
There's loads, right.
Especially the likes of Sam Crow there.
Okay.
He looks very, very exciting. And Death Duty then over fences. There's so many of them that look very exciting. But I suppose the most exciting one that anyone in racing, everyone's talking about Sam Crow, hoping that he reaches the heights that it looks like he's going to,
Okay, all right, very good. And tell me, just for the Christmas period that's on it, especially Stephen's Day, is there anything that you can say? Do you give tips to people?
Yeah, I do. Listen, I back horses a lot myself. So it's hard because so many horses are entered in so many races over the Christmas. You don't know until this Friday when they all get declared. They do. But
anyone that you've an eye on?
That horse Discorama, I think he won't run in Leopardstown, he'll run in Limerick.
I'll just mute this out so I'll be the only one with the thing.
No,
Discorama, what day is he on?
I'm not sure which one, but the Limerick, keep an eye on him over the few days.
Okay.
I know that Paul and James know
Limerick, this is racing on in Limerick, is it as well?
Yeah, same as Down Royal, Limerick and Leopardstown over Christmas.
Right.
And I know the lads think a lot of this horse, and he won in Fairyhouse the last day, but I know he'll improve a lot for the run, and he's a horse, whichever race he runs in, I think will go very close. I think he's a very good horse, and there's a lot of improvement in him, and that's always important. You're looking for horses that will improve for the next day.
Very good. And then, so where can anybody who's interested in following you or hearing more, seeing your interviews and all that? It's Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook, Racing's Inside Track TV, or Davy Boland on Facebook. You'll find my stuff there. Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, all of it really. Okay. And YouTube.
All right, so I can stick links up at the end there. And so do you, before the racing begins, for example, will you be doing, so you'd be working a good bit then over the Christmas period?
Busy over Christmas, hopefully, Go racing most days, and when you're racing, especially on big days like that, it's the TV crowd are there. So it's hard to get lads into interviewing because there's a lot of pressure on the day. It's busy for trainers and owners and jockeys, so you don't really get a chance to sit down and talk to them. But that's why I use Snapchat a lot at the races on the day, and it's good to use that. People will follow you on that and watch videos, and sure, obviously I'd love a job maybe doing something like that, interviewing people on TV and that, but maybe someone might give me a chance someday,
Well, if you build up your own audience, you won't need it.
You'll
be doing it.
That's true too.
And tell me, the likes of Michael O'Leary and I suppose the owners, they're the owners.
Yep.
What is for them is that the thrill is whether they're owning the horse, everything to do with it. Is it like for them? I'm just curious, because obviously, likes of a Michael Leary, I imagine, is some task master in business.
Yeah.
How does that translate in the world
of horse racing?
Well,
his brother Eddie looks after that whole scene.
Okay.
He buys the horses for him, and But listen, he puts a lot of money into horse racing. Without Michael O'Leary and JP McManus and Barry Conlon and Rich Rishi and these lads, we'd be in trouble. And then obviously on the flat side of things, John Magner for Coolmore Ballydoyle. Like without these people, like racing would be in trouble. You need these big owners in it. So it's great that they pump so much money into it and give people, by the more horses these lads have, the more job opportunities there is.
Okay.
There's more opportunities for jockeys on the track with these good horses. But Michael O'Leary puts a lot of money into it and has a lot of good horses because of it. And so does JP,
Okay.
But they spend a lot on horses,
So they turn up in the day almost.
They'll turn up on the day, but
okay.
So that's their hobby, and I'm sure they get great kicks when they win on the big days,
Yeah, okay, very good. Thank you so much, man.
No, thank you.
Yeah, sure, we'll see what the crack is. I'm going to keep an eye out for it.
Might see a Leopardstown at Christmas.
Yeah. That's it. Hi, if you like the conversation that I just had and you'd like more, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you.
Frank,
Frank, come on, man.